Hello everybody and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. In today's video I got something a little special, a little different than usual, because I got the opportunity, or the random chance I guess, to be summoned by KingBendrick during one of his viewer streams. I think it was the first one. Yeah, the first one. And essentially what that is a stream in which a streamer will summon in viewers with a password and then they go and fight the boss for them essentially, and then they stream that and they talk over it, and it's kind of interesting and it's fun to both watch and sort of take part in, because I got lucky enough, as I said, to be summoned, but there is some slight downsides to being summoned using the password, and it has something to do with the fact that I'm like level 80 at this point and I think KingBendrick was 30. So I got downscaled quite heavily, so my weapons did no damage and I had no health, which is a bit of an issue. Because we were going up and fighting Pontiff Sullivan, I believe, in this sort of little section, and it was very fun to get involved in this and be part of it, in all fairness, even with the outcome that we had at the end of this sort of little section, because this isn't going to take up the whole video, it's just like the first little bit, which does something a little different to this. But if you don't know who KingBendrick is, he's a much bigger Souls content creator mainly. I think he does other stuff as well, but I haven't really been on his channels and stuff as of late, other than to watch the Dark Souls stuff primarily. I can't remember if he played Dead by Daylight with the sort of group. I don't really remember. But he's a cool guy, and if you don't know who he is, I'd go and check him out personally, because he's a pretty awesome content creator. He's the sort of, him and his sort of little group are generally the people that I watch when I'm not doing content myself or just playing a game. If I'm playing a game with a friend, I generally won't have a stream on the background, but if I am playing a game, then I will put it on the background. So, this is the sort of stuff that I watch. I enjoy watching it, I enjoy listening into their sort of stuff, so if you do fancy doing that, I'd go and do it, because they're pretty cool. But anyway, this was sort of a nice little opportunity for me to go and sort of do this. Obviously it gives me sort of no benefits as a content creator other than that it was fun to do, and I'm kind of a fan of KingBendrick, so it was kind of fun to play alongside him, even if it was in sort of a viewer stream situation, so it's more me fighting for him, which, I think he referred to us as Pokemon a few times. But yeah. Anyway guys, I'm just going to leave you with this little section, probably some nice little background music for the rest of this bit, and then we'll get into the actual Angel of Lothric stuff, with going through, I believe, possibly the dungeons under Lothric, or the Lothric Castle. So, it's all the Boreal Valley dungeons, actually. But yeah, I'll see you guys very shortly. Hello everybody and welcome, as I said earlier, to Dark Souls 3. Now, I do just want to sort of apologise for the first little 4-minute clip-ish bit of the fact that it might have been a little choppy in places, and that's mainly down to the fact that, well, I was also watching the stream at the same time, so it meant that the frame rate was occasionally a little choppy, because obviously my frame rate is being used up for watching the stream as well. I'm not entirely sure what this guy's doing. I don't know if he wants me to just... Okay, I'll let him lead the charge. Oh, there's an invader behind me. Hi! Oh, you want to bow? Okay, I'll bow. I'll be nice. Ow! I got hit right at the start. This is not a good start. Oh, Jesus Christ, I just got fucking obliterated. Wow, what the fuck is that sword? Is that Lorian's? I assume that's one of the prince's swords. I've never even seen anyone use that thing before. Wow, that was a bad start. That was an awful start. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't entirely expecting to just be summoned into a fight club immediately. I'm not prepared for that shit. I've got like my sort of speed running gear equipped, if anything. Where is my witch's ring? There it is. But yeah, the gear setup, I think I've mentioned it before, of the Slumbering Dragon Crest and Hidden Body, which obviously you can see I've equipped there, is overpowered pretty much, because you can just walk through a zone and stuff. Like, I've essentially gone through the entire archives fighting just the Crystal Sage, I think it was. That's the only thing I've killed in the actual archives. And the rest of the time I just went through and picked up items, because obviously I'm playing through the game in co-op with D-Dave. I think I've mentioned that before quite a few times. But obviously in doing that, I am not doing the bosses by myself. I'm waiting for D-Dave to do the bosses. So all I've done is sort of ran through and picked up the loot and sort of progressed my character forwards, whereas my my actual sort of progress through the game hasn't really been made, if that makes sense. Because all I've done is done this little sort of bit at the start more than anything. As you probably be able to see from my items, my gear is sort of moving more towards what I actually want for my build. And currently I'm wearing sort of Artorias' stuff, and then some rags, because why wouldn't I? Because currently that's sort of all I can equip without majorly over-encumbering myself. Now, I haven't actually been through this zone really at all. Actually, no, I have been through this zone. I went through this zone a little bit with... obviously, I've played through the zone, like I said, but without really killing anything. But I've played through a bit of the zone in co-op with D-Dave, so obviously some of the stuff here, like invasions and stuff I have encountered before. Jesus Christ, the Profane Flame is overpowered. I've never even seen that thing used before in PvP. Wow, a straight sword user. Not entirely surprised by that thing. The Profane Flame is really good. I might actually have to, you know, start using that instead of some of the other stuff I use. Because, damn, that thing is powerful. It just knocks you on your ass, and then they just throw down another one and knocks you on your ass again. It's just repeatedly knocking you over. That is an overpowered pyromancy, like, I'm not gonna lie, that thing is pretty damn powerful. There we go. Finally landing some hits, that's the main issue. I've just not been landing anything. There we go, quite on the backswing. Oh, we got a Dark Moon in here with us. As you can probably tell, I'm also in the Dark Moon Covenant by my my Covenant thing, and he's invisible, so that's cool. Our Dark Moon buddy is in fact invisible. Now I know that's an actual glitch, and that guy probably isn't a hacker. That's a weird glitch that seems to be. I just took no damage from that. A weird glitch that seems to be constantly happening with the Dark Souls community. In PvP in general, of characters just summoning in or invading invisible, which is not exactly fair on them or the world host or really anybody, and it's something that they should really be working on fixing as soon as possible. It's kind of irritating, as that guy, in all fairness, I don't know if we'd have won that PvP match without that guy. I mean, there's a pretty high chance I was actually landing, once I just started landing hits, that was going well. But, obviously that guy was just killed by an invisible phantom that was summoned for us, which could happen the other way around quite easily, which would equally suck. So I kind of hope that's not going to happen, but it's entirely possible because it is a current bug and I'm not entirely sure what's causing it or how to fix it, so I apologise if anyone else is running into that. Obviously it's not my game to apologise for, but it is something that's quite irritating, and it is kind of unfair on the PvP side if you're just being frightened by something that you can't see. So, Yeah, I'm just gonna dunk my head in this. Show this guy what to do, because they seem to be lost, so... you know, I'm just guiding people through the game. This is my job. It's my job, apparently. It's not a bad one in all fairness. Honestly, I'm not sure what else just to talk about Dark Souls wise. I mean, DLC pretty much was announced at E3 and that's about it. Other than that, they're doing other things that aren't Dark Souls, and possibly they sort of talked about the new titles that maybe they're doing, but From Software's E3 thing was just really... I don't think, even if it was E3, it was just something news reported, but it was really inspecific. Like, it was incredibly vague, much like the patch notes for Dark Souls 3. There was really nothing to it. It was more just sort of, we're doing maybe this, this, and this, and that was it. Sort of like the patch notes for Dark Souls 3, which is, you know, we've fixed things. That's it. That's the patch notes. There are some slight things with this that, well, with Dark Souls 3 that are kind of irritating. I think it's more on From Software than the game itself, and I'm not saying they're bad, because they're not. From Software's great, because they make these fucking awesome games, but at the same time, it seems like most of the issues are some sort of, you know, from a From Software perspective, because the invisible people in PvP is kind of new to my knowledge. I don't believe that's been a thing from the beginning, and all of a sudden just, you know, people get summoned in and are invisible. I feel like I'm making this guy waste his sorceries, but also he's playing a sorcerer, so I don't really mind. But, I say that I'm playing a pyromancer and I have sorceries, but it's kind of... I don't know. Some sorceries can be incredibly overpowered, and the rest of the time sorceries just aren't really worth using, especially in PvP. Because, well, they're sorceries. Obviously, pyromancies aren't perfect either. They are, they're not the best things in the world, and half the time they just don't work. So, pyromancers. How's it going? Oh, God. I was trying to see what was going on down there with that guy, and then the crystal sage just blew me up with a fucking explodey thing. There we go. I'm just landing some nice hits on crystal sage. Let's just get in here and do some damage. There we go. We did a lot of damage. Like wax thrown at me. See, the sorceries just aren't worth using with how much damage that did in comparison to like the 400 or so damage my sword does. It just doesn't seem worth using sorceries because of how much more powerful just using a sword is. I don't know. Sorceries are really powerful against NPCs and stuff, like bosses, because you could just sit back and you don't have to risk sort of getting, you know, majorly damaged. You can just sit back and throw stuff at them, which is nice, but, I guess getting cursed from running in there. I think we need to go back downstairs and get the candle thing again. Which is not really an issue, but it's kind of irritating. I kind of like this zone in its weird gimmick with the whole, like, you have to do the wax thing, otherwise you start taking curse damage. It's kind of cool, in all honesty. I think it's a very sort of unique idea that's something From Software should probably... I don't know, if you use it again it's no longer unique, but I think it's a cool idea that they came up with. Having it so you have to have a specific thing applied to your character to be able to get through the zone, essentially. And you sort of have to navigate between them to keep yourself alive. I just think it's a cool idea. But, yeah, it's pretty much this zone. Dunk my head and then let the host get his head covered in the stuff again. Now, I've sort of followed my logic with the Two-Face run, in case you guys haven't seen that. Essentially, I have a 15-minute timer for that. Oh, he's using Hidden Body too. Let's go. Hidden Body bros. Now, we're both invisible. Except I don't have my ring equipped. I really should equip my ring, if I'm honest. I think mine's gonna disappear pretty soon as well, which isn't great. I don't know where this invader is at, is the thing that's sort of worrying me more than whether I'm invisible or not, because the invader can actually do something. But, I mean, the NPCs can't. I'm not saying NPCs aren't good. I mean, they're not great. They just do damage and have kind of irritating movesets. He's stood over there with the Crystal Sage. I see him. He's all the way over there. Wow. We now have a blue spirit. It's not a dark moon though, so it's not as cool. He has Gundir's halberd. Well, I'm about to lose, so... Hi, you two. I'm not the fucking... You can't lock onto me, you tools. It's like the easiest way to establish whether someone's an invader, even if they have the blue... not blue, if they even have the white ring on that makes them look like a white phantom, you can quite easily discern whether they're an invader or not by simply locking onto them. I'm not sure how many people haven't realised this, because it's not exactly a complex thing. It's literally just the fact that you can lock onto an invader and you can't lock onto summons, so... Yeah. Now, can I trigger that? No, I can't trigger that for this guy. He has to trigger it, so down we go, to 3 of us, to fight Gundir's halberd, which is the most overpowered weapon I've found in the game. It's not like Lorian's sword is any better, in honesty. That thing seems pretty cool. I kind of want to try out Lorian's sword, but obviously that requires me to go and kill the prince, which I haven't done yet. But it's one... Do you have to I think you have to kill both princes, because they resurrect each other. Which is sort of an issue. Ow! I just took Gundir's halberd to the face, and then the crystal thing to the face. I'm gonna die. Probably to the straight sword. Yep, I knew I was gonna die to the straight sword, because the LB attack takes way too long to land, but it's the fastest attack that this sword has. There you go, that guy's pretty much like 90% through the zone. He just has to run away from the invader and go and kill the Crystal Sage. Which, I'm not sure that's going to happen, considering he seems to be very much standing his ground, but, this is kind of an unsuccessful episode, I feel, and the fact that I died multiple times. But, we still help people progress through the zones. Those guys know where they're going now, right? But, anyway guys, I will see you in the next episode.